So hello everybody. The 500 mock test series that I have started already. 200 questions we have finished. No, 300 questions. Yes, 200 and then 100 I have shared already. We have finished and getting a lot of good feedback. It is all for you. If you are revising, and for the last moment now, you just need a revision, proper revision. So you must not skip the revision part for your exam. So all the best for your preparation. If you have any doubt, queries regarding the class, PDF notes, you can ask. Okay. And if you want the PDF of the mock test questions, you can take the membership or the remaining unit notes, class-wise notes I have shared on the Telegram channel. You can get from that there. You can join and get the notes. So 300 questions we have already finished, and the next, let's move to the next question, that is 301. So here the question is, remember this is the mock test series. You all have to be very quick with your answer, and I will appreciate if you are watching, you can comment your answer. Because while watching the videos, if you are commenting, it will help you to manage your time. It will make you feel that you are not just watching the videos, but at least how quick you are with your answer. So that is why it is not only for the videos, but for your own practice and time management and your accuracy. Okay. So here is the question: which game did Belinda play in The Rape of the Lock? It is already a P by Q. Remember, which game did Belinda play in The Rape of the Lock, which was published in 1712 by Alexander Pope? Dice, backgammon, chess, or ombre? Quick with your answer, everybody. Correct answer of this question would be option D. I have shared this in the poetry class. You can watch. Go to the bio. Go to the channel. You can watch the videos of poetry class. Everything was mentioned. What are the names of her pet? What are the names of the people in this work? So everything. The real name, the real character name, and also the fiction character. So ombre, what is the ombre? Is a card game of Spanish origin used in the poem to mock the grandeur of epic battles. Okay. Next question we have, in Dryden's Absalom and Achitophel, whom does Absalom allegorically represent? Charles II, James II, Monmouth, or Shaftesbury? In Dryden's Absalom and Achitophel, which is a political work, whom does Absalom allegorically represent? Political allegory, this work is. Whom does it represent? So correct answer option C, Monmouth. Next question we have, according to Longinus, what defines true sublimity in literature? Simple language, moral purpose, elevated thought and diction, or a structural unity? Correct answer. According to Longinus, what defines true sublimity in nature? So it will be option C, elevated thought and diction. Okay. Each type of question you face during this time, during the revision time. Who believed that poetry should teach and delight? Plato, Horace, Aristotle, or Socrates? Who believed that poetry should teach and delight? It is option B, Horace. Next one we have, which classical theorist criticized poetry for being an imitation thrice removed from truth? Aristotle, Longinus, Plato, or Horace? Which classical theorist? Do not forget to prepare about the traditional literary theorist, traditional criticism. So which, it is option C, Plato. Okay, option C, Plato is the correct answer. Next, what does the term hamartia refer to in classical tragedy? A tragic flaw or error in judgment, the purgation of emotions, excessive pride or hubris, the final recognition of truth. Before giving your answer, do let me know that what does all this means. So correct answer will be option A, tragic flaw or error in judgment. The purgation of emotion, excessive pride or hubris, the final recognition, all these are already appeared in the exam. So this is the P by Q. Next, catharsis as described by Aristotle means the climax of a story, emotional purification or relief, the tragic hero's downfall, poetic justice. Quick. So it is option B, emotional purification or purgation or relief. Next, which term refers to the coexistence of conflicting feelings or meanings within a text? Irony, allusion, ambivalence, or synecdoche? Correct answer. Correct answer. Which term refers to the coexistence of conflicting feelings? So it is option C, ambivalence. Option C, ambivalence. Next question we have literary terms, literary devices are extremely important. The deliberate use of words or expressions with multiple meaning is known as allegory, ambiguity, epiphany, symbolism. Deliberate use of words or expression with multiple meaning is known as. So it will be option B, ambiguity. Okay. Do subscribe the channel, everybody. Now these days I forgot to remind you, but I hope you do. So next question we have, an epigram is best defined as a long poetic elegy, a moral fable, a short witty poem or statement, a religious hymn. An epigram is best defined as a long poetic elegy, a moral fable, a short witty poem or statement, or religious. Correct answer. So an epigram is option C, a short witty poem or a statement. Okay. Next one we have, an epistle in literature refers to all these theories, all these terms, devices is already a part of PYQs. So must not forget. A play written in verse, a long formal letter in prose or poetry, a novel in first person, or collection of oral tales. An epistle. Correct answer. It is a long formal letter in prose or poetry. Okay. So this is the correct answer. Next question we have, the study of the historical development of language is called syntax, morphology, philology, or semantics. The study of the historical development of language is called, what do you to call a language? What do we call a language which has been developed historically? So it is option C, philology. Next question, morphology in linguistics is the study of sentence construction. All these questions now they will put in matchology, okay? So do not forget. The origin of words, the structure and form of words, the language usage in society. Morphology in linguistics is the study of. Correct answer, it is option C, the structure and form of the words. Next one we have not only the literature, the writers, but the literary terms device question you will find in this PDF. Who introduced the concept of the intentional fallacy in literary criticism? Roland Barthes, Gainsborough, Wimsatt, and Monroe Beardsley, T.S. Eliot. So it is intentional fallacy. Option C is the correct answer. Okay. Next one we have the term close reading. Similar question appeared in the exam. The term close reading is most associated with which literary movement? Structuralism, new criticism, post-structuralism, reader response theory. Close reading. We all know. Option B, new criticism. Okay. Next question. Which concept did Roland Barthes popularize in his essay The Death of the Author? The author's centrality in interpretation, fixed meaning of a text, text exists independently of authorial intent or structural determinism. So it is option C, text exists independently of authorial intent. Okay. Next question. Binary opposition is a key concept in post-colonialism, eco-criticism, structuralism, or deconstruction. Binary opposition is a key concept in option C, structuralism. Okay. Next question we have the anxiety of influence, a theory that about literary inheritance and originality was proposed by Harold Bloom, Edward Said, Northrop Frye, and M.H. Abraham. Anxiety of influence. Who has coined, who has originated this? So option A, Harold Bloom. Okay. Option A, Harold Bloom. Next one we have which of the following thinkers is most closely associated with eco-criticism? Raymond Williams, Lawrence Buell, Terry Eagleton, Julia Kristeva. Eco-criticism, digital literature, digitization, ecofeminism, all these are very important now these days. These are the latest one. So correct answer option B, Lawrence. Okay, Lawrence Vale is the correct answer. Next, hybridity, mimicry, and third space are terms introduced by option B, Homi K. Bhabha. You all know, and you have already solved them. Which of the following is not a feature of postmodernism? These type of question always appear. Okay, so remember which of the following is not a feature of postmodernism? Here, irony and playfulness, meta narratives, intertextuality, or pastiche. Correct answer not a feature of postmodernism. Not a feature of postmodernism. So it is option B, meta narratives. Meta narratives. Next question. Decentering the author and text is a feature of formalism, structuralism, deconstruction, or psychoanalytic criticism. Correct answer? Decentering. Decentering the author and text is feature of option C, deconstruction. Next one we have which critic introduced the concept of the female voice and experience in literature through gynocriticism? Sandra Gilbert, Helen Seuss, Ellen Sholter, Julia Kristeva. Gynocriticism, it is clearly mentioned here. So it is option C, Ellen Sholter. Next one we have who is the author of Why I Am Not a Hindu, a critical examination of caste and Hindu society? Correct answer. Why I Am Not a Hindu, who is the author, a critical examination of caste and Hindu society. Options we have Om Prakash Valmiki, Kancha Ilaya, Arundhati Roy, or U R Anand Murthy. You have seen the answer, so it is option B, Kancha Ilaya. Next question. Which of these writers is known for novel Desirable Daughters and often explores immigrant life in America? Anita Desai, Kiran Desai, Bharti Mukherjee, or Arundhati Roy? Correct answer. The writers who known for the novel Desirable Daughters and often explores immigrant life in America is option C, Bharti Mukherjee. Next question. The novel Untouchable, a pioneering work on caste issues in India, was written by Raja Rao, Mulk Raj Anand, R.K. Narayan, B.R. Ambedkar. So it is option B, Mulk Raj Anand. Next question we have who is the author of Coolie, a novel that explores the plight of the working class Indian? Mulk Raj Anand, R.K. Narayan, Salman Rushdie, Raja Rao. Coolie. The characters of Coolie, Untouchable are important. Correct answer option A, Mulk Raj Anand. Okay. Next question. Who wrote The Inheritance of Laws, which won the Man Booker Prize in 2006? Arundhati Roy, Kiran Desai, Anita Desai, Jhumpa Lahiri. So we have solved this question. Option B, Kiran Desai would be the correct answer. Next question. Which of these Dalit writers wrote A Karmashi, The Outcast? Daya Pawar, Bama, Sharan Kumar Limble, or Baby Kamble? Correct answer. Which of these Dalit writers wrote A Karmashi? So it is by option C, Sharan Kumar Limble. Next question we have which of the following lines is an example of an epigram? This type of question you can see. To err is human to forgive, divine by Alexander Pope. I wandered lonely as a cloud, Wordsworth. Because I could not stop for death, he kindly stopped for me. Do I dare disturb the universe? Which of the following line? You have to find out the example of an epigram. An epigram. Correct answer. Option A, to err is human, to forgive is divine by Alexander Pope is an example of an epigram. Next question. Who is considered a pioneer of the Indian English diaspora literature? Arundhati Roy, Jhumpa Lahiri, Salman Rushdie, Anita Desai. Who is the writer Indian English diaspora literature considered a pioneer? Correct answer option C, Salman Rushdie. Next question we have. Which African diaspora writer is famous for Americana and we should all be feminist? Gucci Emecheta, Chinua Achebe, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, or Wole Soyinka? What are the names? Great. Be quick with your answer. This is the and at the end of the video, please share your score. So correct answer option C, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie will be the correct answer. Next question we have, which of the following is a major theme in diaspora literature? Remember that diaspora literature is also important. You cannot escape industrialization, but focus on the major, the super topics, the most scoring topics first. Alienation and the cultural identity, romantic idealism, environmentalism. Which of the following is a major theme in diaspora literature? Diaspora literature. So option B, alienation and cultural identity. Next, Meena Alexander is associated with Caribbean literature, Dalit literature, Indian diaspora literature, Australian literature. Correct answer, Meena Alexander. So it is option C, Indian diaspora literature. Okay. Next question we have, we live in a world of diasporas is a quote commonly used to emphasize which literary concern? historical realism, global displacement and migration, feminist expression, or linguistic purity. Correct answer. We live in a world of diasporas is a quote commonly used to emphasize which literary concern. So it is option B, global displacement and migration. So diaspora is related with the displacement of the people. Okay. They migrated in some other countries, other places. The fictional town of Malgudi was created by Salman Rushdie, Amitav Ghosh, R.K. Narayan, Shashi Tharoor. So it is by option C, R.K. Narayan. I have already told you many times. The Guide, a novel about transformation and spirituality, is written by Raja Rao, R.K. Narayan, Salman Rushdie, Ruskin Bond. Correct answer. It is by option B, R.K. Narayan. Next, in Raja Rao's Kantapura, who narrates the story? It is very, very important PYQs. Frequent appear. Bapu Ranga Murthy Achakka. Raja Rao's Kantapura. It is option D, Achakka. This question was appeared in my exam. So I have read this in detail. So still I was confused, but luckily I got the right pick. Next question. The Calcutta Chromosome, a novel blending science fiction with Indian mythology, was written by Vikram Chandra, Amitav Ghosh, Rajarao, Kiran Nagarkar. Correct answer. Calcutta Chromosome is by option B, Amitav Ghosh. Okay. Next question we have published in 1995. R.K. Narayan was awarded the Sahitya Academy Award for which novel? The Man Eater of Malgudi, Swami and Friends, The Guide, or Waiting for the Mahatma? Correct answer. It is option C, The Guide. Okay. Next question we have the Ibis trilogy, including Sea of Poppies, was authored by Salman Rushdie, Amitav Ghosh, Rohinton Misri, or Arundhati Roy. Correct answer. It is option B, Amitav Ghosh. Member. Next question we have which autobiographical work by Kamla Das created a storm for its candid revelations about her life and relationship? My Story, Summer in Calcutta, The Descendants, or Alphabet of Lust? Correct answer, everybody. Be quick. From all the unit, you will find the questions in this mock test. So it is option A, My Story is the correct answer, which is in Malayalam known as Ente Katha. Okay, Ente Katha. Here, 1976 it was published. Originally, it was written in Malayalam as Ente Katha, which was in 1973. What is Kamala Das primarily known for in Indian English literature? Romantic novels, political journalism, confessional poetry, or historical fiction. So in Indian poetry or Indian writers, if you will take the Kamala Das name, she will be put in the option C, confessional poetry, confession genre. Okay, confessional genre. Next question we have, which was Kamala Das' first collection of poetry in English? The Old Playhouse, The Descendants, Summer in Calcutta, Only the Soul Knows How to Sing. The first collection of poetry, it is option C, Summer in Calcutta. Next question we have, which recurring theme is not commonly associated with Kamala Das' poetry? Female desire, patriarchy, colonial politics, or emotional trauma? Not commonly was associated with Kamala Das poetry. So it is option C, colonial politics. Or apart from this option, you will find female desire, patriarchy, or emotional trauma in her work. Next, what pen name did Kamala Das use when writing in Malayalam? Sugatha Kumari, Kamala Suraya, Madhvi Kutti, or Indulekha. So it is option C, Madhvi Kutti. Okay, option C, Madhvi Kutti in Malayalam. Next question we have, which collection includes the poem An Introduction where Kamala Das speaks about her identity and linguistic freedom? So The Descendant, Summer in Calcutta, Only the Soul Knows How to Sing, or The Old Playhouse and Other Poems? 350 questions we are about to finish. An Introduction. So it is option D, The Old Playhouse and Other Poems. Next question we have, Kamala Das' poetry is most often associated with which poetic movement? Beat generation, Indian English modernism, romantic revival, or metaphysical poetry? Kamala Das' poetry is most often associated with the option Option B, Indian English modernism. Next question we have. Nizam Ezekiel is often referred to as the founder of Dalit literature, the father of Indian English drama, the father of modern Indian English poetry, or the pioneer of post-colonial fiction. Correct answer. So it is option C, the father of modern Indian English poetry. Next question. Which poem by Ezekiel mocks Indian English usage while also celebrating its distinct identity? Knight of the Scorpion, Enterprise, Background Casually, or The Professor? Which poem by him mocks Indian English usage? So it is option D, The Professor. Next question. Nissim Ezekiel's poem Knight of the Scorpion reflects urban alienation, superstition, and maternal sacrifice. The freedom struggle or journey through India. Correct answer. So it is option B, superstition and maternal sacrifices. Let's move on to the next question, everybody. What is the title of Ezekiel's semi-autobiographical poem In India? Background casually, philosophy, poet, lover, bird watcher. What is the title of Ezekiel's semi-autobiographical poem? Correct answer, it is option B, background casually. Next question we have, which magazine did Nizam Ezekiel edit that promoted Indian writing in English? The Hindu Review, Indian Literature, Poetry India, Quest. Which magazine was edited by Nizam Ezekiel that promote Indian writing in English? So it is option D, Quest. Next question. Henry Derozio is associated with which early reformist intellectual movement in Bengal? Arya Samaj, Brahmo Samaj, Young Bengal movement, or Swadeshi movement? Correct answer. So it is option C, Young Bengal movement. Okay. Next, Derozio's poetry is best described as a romantic and nationalist, classical and devotional, colonial satire, or dramatic tragic. Derozio's poetry is best described as, how you can describe it, in which genre? So it is option A, romantic and nationalist. Next one we have, which of the following is a famous poem by Derozio, Henry Derozio? To India, My Native Land, Enterprise, The Professor, or The Patriot? So it is option A, To India, My Native Land, which was published 1828 in the Fakir of Jangira, a magical tale and other poems. Okay, remember. Next question we have, Henry Derozio worked as a teacher at Presidency College, Chennai, Hindu College, Calcutta, St. Xavier's College, Mumbai, or Delhi College. It is option B, Hindu College, Calcutta. Next question. Which of the following theme is not associated with Deleuze's poetry? Love for motherland, social reform, romanticism, postmodernism. Which of the following theme is not associated with Deleuze's poetry? So it is option D, postmodernism. Next question. Which of the following is a common theme in Emily Dickinson's poetry? Industrialization, nature, death, and immorality, colonial conquest, gender activism. The common theme in Emily Dickinson's poetry, American writer, it is option B, nature, death, and immortality. Next question. Emily Dickinson's poetic style is known for formal rhyme schemes and clear punctuation, free verse and long epic narratives, unconventional capitalization and dashes, and political satire and essays. Correct answer. So it is option C, unconventional capitalization and dashes. You will find the common theme, common style of her work. Emily Dickinson's famous poem Because I Could Not Stop for Death personifies death as a violent thief, a patient suitor, a stern judge, or a grim reaper with a scythe. Because I Could Not Stop for Death personifies death as, it is option B, a patient suitor. Next question we have seen the answer still. In his poetry, Walt Whitman celebrated European romanticism, the spiritual decay of man, individual freedom and American democracy, or Victorian morality. In his poetry, Walt Whitman celebrated. So it is individual freedom and American democracy would be the correct answer. Next, Whitman's writing style is most known for using sonnet form, blank verse, rhyme couplets, free verse. Walt Whitman's style is most known. Correct answer. Is option D, free verse. Option D, free verse. Next question we have, which famous elegy by Whitman mourns Abraham Lincoln? Crossing Brooklyn Ferry, when lilacs last in the door yard bloom, a noiseless patient spider once self I sing. Correct answer. Correct answer. Option B, when lilacs last in the dooryard bloom is the correct answer. Next, Eugene O'Neill won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1925, 1936, 1949, 1954. Correct answer, everybody. In which year Eugene O'Neill won the Nobel Prize for Literature? So it is option B, 1936. Next question we have. Now in the next mock test, now you will find the lengthier questions. This was already prepared, so it is already a starting time. So I thought that I should upload for the revision purpose. Which play by Eugene O'Neill is a semi-autobiographical masterpiece dealing with addiction, family trauma, and despair. So it is the Ice Myth Comet. This work is important. Desire Under the Elms, Morning Becomes Electra, or Long Day's Journey into Night. At least you are getting familiar about the writers, authors, work, their themes, genres, everything. Huh? So correct answer, it is option B, Long Day's Journey into Night is the correct answer. You will find the semi-autobiographical masterpiece. This work is which deals with the family trauma and despair. Next question. The term expressionism is often linked to which of O'Neill's plays, Eugene O'Neill's plays? The Hairy Ape, Beyond the Horizon, Anna Christie, or A Wilderness? Expressionism. So it is option A, the hairy ape. Remember the hairy ape known for the expressionism. Okay. Eugene O'Neill contribution to American drama lies in his use of Victorian realism, rejection of psychological conflict, adaptation of classical tragedy to modern themes, repetition of Shakespearean conventions. Correct answer? Quickly comment your answer. So it is option C, adaptation of classical tragedy to modern themes. Okay. Next question we have, which of the following best defines a dramatic monologue in literature? A poem where the speaker reveals their thoughts to an imaginary audience, often unintentionally exposing aspects of their character. Okay. Then a dramatic play where one actor speaks alone on stage, a dialogue between two characters without narration, a personal lyric with inner feelings. Now this question is lengthier and the options too. Correct answer. Dramatic monologue in literature, best defined. So it is option A, a poem where the speaker reveals their thoughts to an imaginary audience, often unintentionally exposing aspects of their character. Okay. Next question. Which of the following is not a typical feature of dramatic monologue? A silent listener, psychological revelation, a moral judgment by the narrator, a specific situation or a setting. Correct answer, everybody? Not a typical feature of a dramatic monologue. So it is option C, a moral judgment by the narrator. Next question. Who is considered the master of the dramatic monologue in English poetry? Alfred Lord Tennyson, Robert Browning, W.B. Yeats, Thomas Hardy. Correct answer. So it is option B, Robert Browning. All these are the Victorian poets apart from option C. So option B, Robert Browning is the correct answer. Okay. Next question we have, identify the speaker and tone in Browning's My Last Duchess, a humble suitor praising his late wife, a duke revealing his controlling nature with cold, manipulative tone, a servant mourning his master, a warrior reflecting on morality. Correct answer, everybody. The correct answer option A. Correct answer of this question would be option B, a duke revealing his controlling nature with a cold and manipulative tone. Okay, next question. Stream of consciousness best described as a technique that imitates a spontaneous and disjointed flow of thoughts in the human mind, a linear cause-effect narration, a structural format with flashbacks, a poetic meter used in modernist poetry. How will you describe the stream of consciousness technique? So it is option A, a technique that imitates a spontaneous and disjointed flow of thoughts in the human mind. Okay. Next question we have. Which of the following writers is not typically associated with the stream of consciousness technique? Virginia Woolf, James Joyce, William Faulkner, George Eliot. It's simple. Option D, George Eliot, we can easily eliminate because all three are extensively using this technique in their work. Okay, have used. Next question. In To the Lighthouse, Virginia Woolf uses the stream of consciousness technique primarily to drive the plot forward rapidly, explore social realism and satire, reveal inner conflicts, shifting perspective and subjective time, maintain a chronological and factual account of events. Correct answer option C, reveal inner conflicts, shifting perspectives and subjective time. Next question. An interior monologue is best understood as a form of third person omniscient narration, a conversation between two characters, a narrative device reflecting internal thoughts of a character, a poetic device using rhyme and meter. Interior monologue. We have dramatic monologue, we have interior monologue, we have a stream of consciousness, we have hamartia, we have catharsis. Narrative techniques you must not forget. At least definition you must know. Correct answer of this question would be option C, a narrative device reflecting internal thoughts of a character. Okay. Next question, objective correlative, a term popularized by T.S. Eliot, refers to the narrator's inner voice, a set of objects. So option B, a set of objects. We have solved this question. We can see. Next question, in Andrea del Sarto, Browning explores the theme of war and politics, the inner conflict of an artist striving for perfection without inspiration, religious redemption, or nature and the supernatural. In Andrea del Sarto, Robert Browning explored the theme of option B, the inner conflicts of an artist striving for perfection without inspiration. Next question we have, which of the following Tennyson poem expresses the desire to transcend earthly life and embrace the eternal? Ulysses, The Charge of the Light Brigade, Tears, Idle Tears, or Crossing the Bar? Next time you will have to read the question by yourself and then have to comment the answer. So correct answer option D, Crossing the Bar. Okay. Next question we have, the phrase to strive, to speak, to find and not to yield appears in Locksley Hall, Ulysses, in Memoriam, AHH, or Tithonus. Tithonus. The phrase to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield appears in option B, Ulysses, Lord Alfred Tennyson. Tennyson's In Memoriam is primarily a narrative epic on war, a dramatic monologue by Ulysses, a long elegy mourning the death of a friend, a pastoral celebration of nature. Correct answer? So it is option C, a long elegy mourning the death of a friend. Next question we have, which work is translated as the kaleidoscopic story of my life, published in 1983, and is considered the first female Dalit autobiography in India. Karukku, Majya Jalmachi Chitrakatha, The View of My Life, or Anta's Fort. It is from the Dalit literature. Remember, I have a good video on this Dalit literature in detail, female, male, everyone mentioned. So correct answer option. What would be the correct answer? It is option D. It is option B, Majya Jalmachi Chitrakatha. Okay, the kaleidoscopic story of my life, not option D. Okay, sorry. Next question, who is the author of Jalmachi? I think this is the repeated one, na? No, not repeated. You have to guess the author now. Question about work is same, but now you have to guess that who is the writer. Who is the author of the Majya Jalmachi Chitrakatha, translated as the kaleidoscopic story of my life? Actually, I intentionally put this question because in June 2025, there were a lot of people who were confused, even myself. Published in 1983, the first female Dalit autobiography in India. It's Bama, Baby Kamble, Urmila Pawar, or the last one, Shanta Bai Kamble. Majya, Jalmachi Chitrakatha. Correct answer? You can see the Dalit writer work video. I will upload again. So it is option D, Shantabai Kamble. Okay. Next question. Who is the author of the first female Dalit autobiography in India? Bama, Urmila Pawar, Shantabai Kamble, Baby Kamble. It is option C, Shantabai Kamble. There was a confusion between Baby Kamble and Shantabai Kamble. Actually, many of the female Dalit writers have written their work, and those works have been described as the first female Dalit writers' work. So that is why there is a confusion. But it was cleared in June. I have cleared. What is the title of Shantabai Kamle's autobiography, considered the first by a Dalit woman? Again, the questions have different way asking. Karuku prison we broke, Maya Jalmachi Chitrakatha, a life less ordinary. Correct answer, it is option C, Malja Jalmachi Chitrakatha, which was published in 1983, translated as the kaleidoscopic story of my life. Because everybody was writing their own story, now, whatever the situation, circumstances, the regarding their race, caste, so they have faced. Which of the following plays by John Webster is a revenge tragedy centered on a noble woman's defiant and a murder? The Revenger's Tragedy, The Duchess of Malfi, Dr. Faustus, Edward II. So it is option B, The Duchess of Malfi, which was published in 1613. Okay. Next, in The White Devil, the female protagonist Vittoria is portrayed as a virtuous queen, a victim of political intrigue and moral judgment, a peasant caught in war, or a nun turned rebel. Correct answer. So it is option B, a victim of political intrigue and moral judgment. Okay, remember the character. Next question we have, Women Beware Women by Thomas Middleton primarily explores life in the countryside, martial politics, sexual manipulation and court corruption, Christian allegory, scientific progress. Women Beware Women by Thomas Middleton primarily explores theme. So it is option B, marital politics, sexual manipulation and court corruption. Next question we have, Middleton co-wrote the Changeling with which other playwright? John Webster, William Rowley, Ben Jonson, Philip Messenger. Co-wrote The Changeling with which other playwright? So it is option B, William Rowley. Next question we have, Tom Stoppard's Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead is an example of classical tragedy, meta-theatrical absurdist drama, Elizabethan revenge play, or Greek farce. Correct answer, it is option B, meta-theatrical absurdist drama. Next question we have, in Arcadia, 1993, Tom Stoppard combines which elements? Option you have Greek myth and modern war, Renaissance art and feminism, romantic literature and chaos theory, medieval theology and Marxism. Correct answer, in Arcadia, Stoppard combines which elements? So it is option C, romantic literature and chaos theory. Okay. Next question we have, Stoppard's The Real Inspector Hound is parody of Jacobean revenge play, drawing room under mysteries and theatre criticism, restoration comedy, or naturalist drama. You have seen the answer already. So correct answer option B. Okay. Next question we have, what is the famous opening line of Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy? I have already told you. It was the best of time, it was the worst of time. Call me Ishmael. All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Correct answer. All the lines you have solved. So quickly comment this line in which work appear, this line and this line. So it is option C, opening line of Anna Karenina. Option C would be the correct answer. Next, who is Anna Karenina's lover in the novel? Konstantin Levin, Count Vronsky, Prince Oblonsky, or Alexei Karenin? Correct answer. It is option B, Count Vronsky is the lover of Anna Karenina in the novel. Next question, who is the moral and philosophical counterpart to Anna in Anna Karenina? Alexei Karenin, Stefan Oblonsky, Konstantin Levin, or Siroza? Philosophical counterpart to Anna in Anna Karenina. It is option C, Konstantin Levin. Okay. Next question we have, Anna Karenina's husband Alexei Alexandrovich Karenin works in which field? Medicine, military, government administration, or law? If you have studied in depth, you will immediately find the correct answer. Option C, government administration. Next question we have. What is the central theme of Anna Karenina? Remember, it's important. Revenge and justice, the pursuit of scientific knowledge, adultery, morality, and social hypocrisy, and exploration of colonial rule. It is clear. The novel Clear Cut shows the theme of adultery, morality, and social hypocrisy. Okay. Next question. Who wrote Anna Karenina? Just told you previous few questions. Anton Chekhov, Leo Tolstoy, Fyodor Dostoevsky, or Ivan Turgenev. So it is option B, Leo Tolstoy. Next question. What narrative technique is predominantly used in Anna Karenina? We have reached on the 400 questions. First person retrospective, stream of consciousness, third person omniscient narration, or epistolary narration. Correct answer, everybody. What narrative technique is predominantly used in Anna Karenina? So it is option C, third person omniscient narration. Okay. So third person omniscient narration. Let's move to the next question. So here is the next question. Which literary device is exemplified in the novel's parallel plot structure? Anna and Vronsky's doomed romance is contrasted with Levin and Kitty's stable marriage. Option allegory, juxtaposition, synecdoche, irony. Literary device you have to find out that describe. So correct answer option B, juxtaposition. Next question you have, which of the following best describes the structure of Anna Karenina? Everything about this work is important. Episodic, circular, linear with multiple interwoven plots, or frame narrative. Quickly comment. We will finish the 500 questions of the mock test and get ready for those questions in which you will find the explanation also. Correct answer of this question would be option C, linear with multiple interwoven plots. Okay, next question we have. What philosophical theme is explored deeply through the character of Levin? Nihilism, existentialism, agricultural reform, and spiritual search for meaning, or capitalism and class struggle. Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy is very important work. Correct answer of this question would be option C. Okay, option C is the correct answer. Next one we have, in literary terms. Next question, in literary terms, Anna can be seen as a tragic heroine because she suffers due to fate and a fatal flaw. She is a symbol of national identity. She represents colonial resistance. Or option D, she achieves salvation through death. About the heroine Anna from the work Anna Karenina. Correct answer option A, she suffers due to fate and a fatal flaw. Okay. Next question we have, what symbol in the novel foreshadows Anna's fate? The train, the horse race, a broken mirror, a red rose. Symbol that completely change her fate would be option A, the train. Okay, the train. Next question we have, in literary theory, the term negativity is often associated with which philosophers? Dialectical method. Which philosopher's dialectical method? Option A, Michel Foucault. Option B, Jacques Derrida. Option C, G. W. F. Hegel. Or option D, Roland Barthes. Negativity is often associated with which philosopher's dialectical method? So correct answer option C, Hegel. Okay. Next question we have, which of the following best defines the literary theory of eco-criticism? Option A, the study of ecological system through Marxist ideology. Option B, the analysis of literature through environmental concerns and nature-human relationships. Option C, a critic of capitalist environmental policies. And option D, an approach rooted in feminist psychology and ecology. You have to find out the best options that define the eco-criticism. So correct answer, option B, the analysis of literature through the human-nature relationship would be the correct answer, okay, eco-criticism. Next question we have, which of the following scholars is considered a pioneer of eco-criticism? Lawrence Bell, Terry Eagleton, Gayatri Spivak, Edward Said. Be quick with your answer. This is the mock test. We are about to finish the 500 questions. Correct answer, everybody? So the correct answer of this question would be option A, Lawrence Boyle. Okay. Next one we have the concept of dual humanity is most closely associated with which of the following themes? This is the PYQ question. Binary oppositions in structuralism, the tension between colonizer and colonized identities, the fusion of science and religion, or the coexistence of reason and emotion in Enlightenment literature. Dual humanity is most closely associated with which of the following themes? So the correct answer of this question would be option B, the tension between colonizer and colonized identities. Next question we have, which theories spoke about the double consciousness that relates closely to idea of dual humanity? Franz Fanon, W.E.B. Du Bois, Homi K. Bhabha, Stuart Hall. Who among these theorists spoke about the double consciousness that closely relates with the dual humanity? Is option B, Du Bois. Okay. Next one we have, which of the following best express the aim of eco-criticism in literary studies? Option A, to dismiss anthropocentric perspectives. Option B, to create a canon of nature poetry. Option C, to promote climate activism exclusively. Option D, to romanticize wilderness in modern fiction. Correct answer, which of the following best express the aim of criticism? The correct answer, option A, to dismiss anthropocentric perspectives. Okay. Next one we have, the negritude movement was primarily a response to, this is also a PYQs, modernist alienation, colonial oppression and cultural assimilation, industrial capitalism, existentialist thought. The negritude movement was primarily a response. Correct answer, option B, colonial oppression and cultural assimilation. Next one we have, who among the following is not associated with the negritude movement? Leo, Leopold Sédar Senghor, Aimé Césaire, Leon Damas, or Claude Lévi-Strauss? Correct answer, not associated with negritude movement. You have to find out. Correct answer, option D, Claude Lévi-Strauss. Next one we have, Aimé Césaire's poem Notebook of Return to the Native Land is a key text of a Harlem Renaissance, negritude movement, romanticism, symbolist poetry. Correct answer. So the correct answer, Amy Caesar's poem, A Notebook of Return to the Native Land, is a key text of option B, negritude movement. Next question we have, the negritude movement was strongly influenced by which earlier cultural and literary movement? The Enlightenment, Romanticism, the Harlem Renaissance, or Naturalism? Correct answer, the negritude movement was strongly influenced by which earlier cultural and literary movement? You have to find out. So the correct answer, it is option C. Sorry, option C, the Harlem Renaissance. Okay. Next one we have, who wrote the satirical comedy Volpone, which critiques greed and corruption in Venetian society? William Shakespeare, Ben Jonson, Christopher Marlowe, John Webster. Volpone, the Fox. By subtitle, Ben Jonson. Correct answer, option B. Next one we have, miracle plays in medieval drama were based on allegorical battles between virtues and vices, biblical stories of saints and their miracles, the life of commoners, classical myths and epics. Miracle plays in medieval dramas were based on. Correct answer, it is option B. Option B, biblical stories of saints and their miracles. That is what a miracle plays were based on. Next question we have, morality plays differed from mystery plays because they dramatized real historical events, used complex stage machinery, presented allegorical characters representing virtues and vices, were written in Latin for the clergy only. How morality play were different from the mystery plays? You have to find out the difference between the morality and the miracle plays. So it is option C, presented allegorical characters who represents virtues and vices. Okay. Next one we have, which of the following works is considered the first English novel in epistolary form? Tom Jones, Pamela, Tristram Shandy, Moll Flanders. First epistolary form. Consider the first English novel in epistolary form. So it is option B, Pamela by Samuel Richardson. Next one we have, who is the author of the Lives of the English Poets, a critical and biographical work on 52 poets. Samuel Richardson, Dr. Samuel Johnson, Thomas Gray, Edmund Burke. The Lives of 52 Poets, written by option B, Dr. Samuel Johnson. Okay. Next one we have, which of the following best defines the concept of blue humanities? PYQ question. A literary study focusing on urban industrial development and allegorical and ecological approach to forest and terrestrial environments. Option C, a humanistic inquiry into oceanic, maritime, and aquatic space in literature and culture. And option D, a theoretical framework focusing exclusively on desert landscape in post-colonial text. Blue humanities. You have to find out that best defines the concept of blue humanities. So it is option C, a humanistic inquiry into oceanic, maritime, and aquatic spaces in literature and culture. Okay. Next question we have, the emergence of blue humanities as a field is primarily associated with which type of environments? Forest and mountains, rivers, seas and oceans, deserts and savannas, urban metropolitan cities. Blue humanities emergence as a field. So option B, rivers, seas and ocean would be the correct answer. Next one we have, which of the following scholars is notably associated with developing the field of blue humanities? Lawrence Bell, Steve Mans, Cheryl Goldfeld, Aaron Nassis. Ness. Quickly comment your answer, everybody. I hope your preparation is going well. So, correct answer. Which of the following scholars? Steve Mans. Okay. Correct answer would be Steve Mans, who are associated with. Next question we have, I have written here 426 question two times. Okay, which of the following themes is most central to blue humanities studies? Industrial revolution and its urban impact, representation of oceanic life, maritime culture, and aquatic ecologies in literature, gender dynamics in Victorian novels, language evolution in postmodern poetry. Central themes to blue humanities. Like blue humanities studies, what are these options? Among which of these options is going to be the correct theme of blue humanities? So it is option B, representation of oceanic life, maritime culture and aquatic ecologies in literature. Okay. Next question, which of the following is a primary source in literary research? A literary critic essay on Hamlet, a journal article reviewing Shakespeare's Hamlet itself, or a student's thesis on Elizabethan drama? Which of the following is a primary source in literary research? What could be the primary research while doing a literary research? So option C, Shakespeare's Hamlet itself. Okay. Next question we have, in research, the term hypothesis refers to a proven fact, a bibliography of existing text, a tentative statement or assumption to be tested. Option D, a summary of a research project. From all the units, I have included the questions and all the important highlights. I hope you must revise this mock test, everybody. Correct answer. Option C, a tentative statement or assumption to be tested. This is what in research the term hypothesis refers to. Okay. Next question we have, what is the correct order of steps in a typical literary research process? See the option, data collection, hypothesis, topic selection, analysis. You have to find out the correct order of steps in a typical literary research process. What should be the correct order while doing a literary research? What should you do first? So the correct answer option B, topic selection, then literature review, hypothesis, data collection and analyzation. Okay. Next question we have, the method of studying literature by drawing comparisons across cultures, languages or time period is known as historical criticism, formalist analysis, comparative literature or structuralism. Correct answer, the method of studying literature by drawing comparisons across culture. So it is option C, comparative literature. Okay, comparative literature. Next question we have, what does a plagiarism check in research ensures? That the writing is free of grammatical errors, that the structure of the thesis follows a set pattern, that the work is original and properly cited, and that all references are in alphabetical order. Plagiarism check in research. What does it ensure? Plagiarism, we all know. So it is option C, that the work is original and properly cited. Okay. Next question we have. In MLA ninth edition, how should a book by a single author be cited in the works cited page? Here are the options. This was also this type of question appear. Author, title, publisher, year. Title, author, publisher, then year. And the remaining two options, author, title of book, publisher or year, or author, title, year or publisher. Correct answer in MLA ninth edition. So it is option C, author, title of book, publisher and year would be the correct answer. Next question we have, in MLA style, which of the following is the correct in-text citation for a work by William Wordsworth published in 1798? Options you have, Wordsworth 1798, Wordsworth page 45, Wordsworth. Here is the correct answer. This is how you have to find out that in MLA style, which of the following is the correct in-text citation if you will write William Wordsworth publication 1798, and also you have to put page 45. So how will you put, this is how it is option mentioned here. You have to select the correct. How you will put this. So the correct answer option B, Wordsworth 45 in bracket close. Next question we have, which of the following is a violation of research ethics? Proper citation of all sources, conducting a literature review, fabricating data or misrepresenting sources, paraphrasing ideas from another scholar. Violation of research ethics. So it is option C, fabricating data or misrepresenting the sources. Okay. Next, ethical research. Ethical research in literature must support only one's personal view, avoid citing opposing views, be objective and acknowledge all viewpoints, rely only on primary text. Ethical research in literature must. So the correct answer option C, be objective and acknowledge all viewpoints. Next question, let's move on. We have to finish fast. Which of the following is a non-probability sampling method often used in qualitative literary research? Simple random sampling, stratified sampling, purposive sampling, or cluster sampling? Which of the following is a non-probability sampling method that often used in qualitative literary research? So it is option C, purposive sampling. Next question we have, the main reason to use purposive sampling in literary studies is to ensure everyone in the population has an equal chance of selection, randomly select text for statistical analysis, select text or authors that are especially relevant to the research questions, save time by skipping literature review. What would be the correct? Quickly comment your answer and also comment your score, because these questions are totally different. These questions are from the linguistic research methodology. Important terms like you have eco-criticism, blue humanities. So correct answer option C, select text or authors that are especially relevant to the research questions. Now let's move to the question number 438. What is the stanza form used in the Fairy Queen called? Now you are going to face the question from the literary devices, okay? So be quick with your answer. Ottawa rima, terza rima, Spencerian stanza, heroic couplet. So it's easy, the Fairy Queen called stanza form, that is the option C, Spencerian stanza. Next question, who is referred to as the poet's poet in English literature? John Milton, Geoffrey Chaucer, Edmund Spenser, William Blake. Poet's poet is option C, Edmund Spenser. Okay, Edmund Spenser is known as a poet's poet. Next question we have, which literary device is most associated with Harold Pinter's dramatic style? Interior monologue, Stream of consciousness, painter's के pause or soliloquy. Literary device that is mostly associated with Harold Pinter's dramatic style. So it is option C, Pinter's के pause. Next, William Faulkner's fictional county often used in his novels is Maycomb, Yokna, Patapsco, Jefferson or Macondo. So it is clear option B, Yokna Patapsco is the correct answer. Okay. Next question, the name is a little bit different. Which novel by Nadine Gordimer imagines a post-apartheid future? Option you have July's People, Disgrace, Cry the Beloved Country or The Grass is Singing. Correct answer. Which novel by Nadine Gordimer imagines a post-apartheid future? So it is option A, July's People. Okay. Option A, July's People. Next question we have. Who is the playwright of The Birthday Party 1957, a major figure in the theatre of the absurd? Tom Stoppard, Harold Pinter, Edward Albee, Samuel Beckett. The Birthday Party 1957, you have to find out who dramatizes this, the play, The Birthday Party. So it is none other than Harold Pinter. Next question, what genre does Harold Pinter's The Birthday Party belong to? Romantic comedy, kitchen sink drama, theatre of the absurd, epic theatre. So you just see in the previous question, it is option C, theatre of the absurd. Next question we have, in The Birthday Party, what is the name of the protagonist who is subjected to interrogation? Option you have Goldberg, Stanley Weber, Petty or Macken. Protagonist you have to find out in Birthday Party that is subjected to interrogation. So it is option B, Stanley Weber. Next question we have, what is the nature of Goldberg and Macken's visit in The Birthday Party? Social visit, political campaign, mysterious and threatening interrogation, friendly reunion. Nature, you have to find out the Goldberg and Macken's visit. So it is option C, mysterious and threatening interrogation. Okay. Next question we have, Harold Pinter's technique of using deliberate pauses and silence in his dialogue is known as Pinter's K paradox, Pinter's K pause, verbal suspension, absurd interval. Harold Pinter's technique of using deliberate pauses. So it is option B, Pinter's K pause. Next one we have, The Birthday Party was Harold Pinter's first full-length play. When was it first performed? When was it first performed? So you have the options 1953, 1957, 1960 or 1963. When this play was first performed? So correct option B, 1957. Next one we have, which of the following themes is central to Pinter's birthday party? Celebration of life, redemption and forgiveness, power, identity and menace, or war and peace. Central theme you have to find out for the work, The Birthday Party by Harold Pinter. So it is option C, power, identity and the menace. Next question we have, 450. We are about to finish. Which dramatic technique in The Birthday Party heightens the sense of fear and ambiguity? Deus ex machina, use of rhymed words, fragmented plot and unreliable characters, epic narration. Which dramatic technique in The Birthday Party heightens the sense of fear and ambiguity? Correct answer. Which dramatic technique? So it is option C, fragmented plot and unreliable character would be the correct answer. Next one we have, who is the protagonist and narrator of Charles Dickens' Great Expectations? Joe Gregory, Philip, Pirip or Pip as known, Herbert Pocket or Bentley Drummond. Correct answer. In Great Expectations, who is the narrator? Who is the protagonist and the narrator? So protagonist and narrator we all know it is option B, Philip Pirip. Simply Pip. Next question. What is the name of the cold and beautiful girl raised by Miss Havisham to break men's hearts? Biddy, Estella, Clara, Molly. In Great Expectation, this question is from. So it is option B, Estella. Okay. Next question we have, Miss Havisham is often associated with which symbolic imagery in Great Expectations? This is the very important and repeated PYQs. Light and fire, Clocks stopped at a specific time, decaying, wedding dress, sea and storm, gardens and roses. You have to find out the symbolic imagery in Great Expectation that closely, or you can say often associated with Miss Havisham. So it is option B, clock stopped at a specific time, decaying, wedding dresses. And what is the time that is the clock was stopped? I have mentioned in the class. You must know and comment. Next question, who is revealed to be Pip's true benefactor in Great Expectation? Miss Havisham, Joe Gregory, Abel Magwitch, or Mr. Jaggers? Pip's true benefactor, you have to find out in the play, in the novel Great Expectation by Charles Dickens. So it is option C, Abel Magwitch. Okay, Abel Magwitch was the benefactor. Next question we have, what best describe the transformation of Pip's character throughout the novel? From innocence to villainy, from poverty to wealth without learning, from ambition and pride to humility and self awareness, from cruelty to compassion without suffering. It is a Bildungsroman novel. So, option C, from ambition and pride to humility and self awareness would be the correct answer. Next, Estella is the adopted daughter of which character? Mr. Joe, Mrs. Joe, Biddy, Miss Havisham, Molly. Estella is the adopted daughter of which character? So it is option C, Miss Havisham. She stays with her. With what traumatic event shaped Miss Havisham's life and personality? Her child's death, betrayal by her fiance on her wedding day, and ancient in her home, her father's mysterious disappearance. What traumatic event that shaped Miss Havisham's life? Why does she behave? So it is a correct answer. Option B. Option B, betrayal of her fiance on her wedding day is the correct answer. Okay. Next question. In A Passage to India, which character is wrongly accused of assaulting Adela Quest? Dr. Aziz, Professor Godbole, Mr. Fielding, Mahmood Ali. Correct answer. Passage to India. Whom does Adela accused wrongly? So it is option A, Dr. Aziz. Next question. In Howard's End, which item becomes symbolic of inheritance and connection? A will, a house, a piano, a letter. In Howard's End, which item becomes symbolic of inheritance and connection? So, correct answer option B, a house. Okay. Next question we have. What is the famous epigraph of Howard's End? Only connect God is in the details, to strive, to seek, to find, or east is east and west is west. Famous epigraph. So option A, only connect. Next one we have, which of Froster's novel explores themes of colonial tension and cultural misunderstanding, where angels fear to trade, a room with a view, a passage to India, Morris. Which of Froster's novel explores themes of colonial tension? So it is option C, a passage to India. Next question we have, who is the picaresque hero in Tom Jones? Joseph Andrews, Blifil, Tom Jones, Parson Adams. Very important work for the exam, for all the exam actually. Picaresque hero, so it is option C, Tom Jones. Okay. Next one we have Shamila by Henry Fielding is a parody of which novel? Joseph Andrew, Tom Jones, Pamela, Amelia. Very important. Shamila. So it is option C, Pamela is the correct answer by Samuel Richardson. Next question we have. Next question we have, which character in Joseph Andrew is known for his moral uprightness and comic naivety? Joseph Andrew, Blifil, Tom Jones, Parson Adams. Which character in Joseph Andrew is known for his moral uprightness and comic naivety? So it is option D, Parson Adams. Next one we have, what is a Bildungsroman? A novel that satirizes society, a novel focused on spiritual enlightenment, a novel tracing the psychological and moral growth of the protagonist, a novel centered around war and heroism. What do you mean by Bildungsroman? So it is option C, a novel tracing the psychological and moral growth of the protagonist in the work. Next question we have, which of the following is an example of Bildungsroman? Roman? Tom Jones by Henry Fielding, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte, Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, Waiting for Godot by Samuel Beckett. Following is an example of Bildungsroman. So the correct answer, Tom Jones and Jane Eyre both are the example of Bildungsroman. Okay, Waiting for Godot and Heart of Darkness can't be true. So correct answer, what defines a picaresque novel? Use of lyrical prose and fantasy, a romantic idealization of medieval heroes, the adventure of a roguish lower class hero who leads by his wits, a philosophical exploration of faith and destiny. Correct answer, picaresque novel best defines. So it is option C, the adventure of roguish lower class hero who lives by his wit. Okay. Next question we have. Which of the following is an example of picaresque novel? Pamela by Samuel Richardson, Tom Jones by Henry Fielding, Sons and Lovers by D.H. Lawrence, or Ulysses by James Joyce? So correct answer, option B, Tom Jones by Henry Fielding. Next one we have, what does the term romance or clef mean? A romantic novel based on fairy tales, a novel where characters represent real life individuals, a novel using multiple narrators to tell a story, a novel focusing on abstract philosophical ideas. What does the term romance a clef mean? These type of terms now they always keep asking, so you can prepare. Correct answer would be option B, a novel where characters represented real life individuals. Next one we have, the term pintoresque is commonly used to describe plays characterized by, option you have, elaborate stage setting and musical interludes, realistic dialogue and linear narratives, pauses, silence, menace and ambiguous dialogues, fast-paced action-packed scenes. What would be the correct? The term pintoresque is commonly used to describe plays characterized by. So correct answer, option C, pauses, silence, menace, and ambiguous dialogue. Next one we have, which of the following plays is written by Harold Pinter and often considered an example of the comedy of menace, The Birthday Party, Waiting for Godot, Look Back in Anger, The Dumb Waiter. Comedy of menace. This is also PYQ's very important question. So it is option A, The Birthday Party. Next one we have, the comedy of menace is most associated with the early plays of Tom Stoppard, Harold Pinter, Carroll Churchill, Samuel Beckett. So it is option B, Harold Pinter. Okay. Next one we have, in Harold Pinter's plays, what is often the effect of his signature use of pauses and silences? Option you have, they serve to speed up the dramatic tension, they break the fourth wall and engage the audience, they create ambiguity and psychological tension, and they are purely stylistic and have no deeper meaning. Correct answer, option C, they create ambiguity and psychological tension would be the correct answer. Now next question we have, this is also a PYQ. Pidgin. A Pidgin language typically arises when a single community tries to simplify its native language. Two or more groups with no common language need to communicate. A dialect develops from a regional language. A child creates a private language. What would be the correct answer? Quickly comment. Pidgin language typically arises when? So it is option B. Two or more groups with no common language need to communicate. Okay. Next question we have, what distinguishes a Creole from a Pidgin? This is very important PYQ. A Creole is older than a Pidgin. A Pidgin becomes a Creole when it is acquired as a first language. A Creole uses more slang than a Pidgin. Or option D, a Pidgin has a more complex grammar than a Creole. What distinguish feature you find between the Creole from a Pidgin? So option A, option B, sorry, a Pidgin becomes a Creole when it is acquired as a first language. Okay, so these are the differences. Now, next question we have, the term vernacular generally refers to. Option you have, Any classical or ancient language, the prestige dialect of a language, the everyday spoken language of ordinary people, a language used only in written text. Vernacular language. What does it mean? So it is option C, the everyday spoken language of ordinary people is the correct answer of vernacular language. Next question we have, which of the following best describes the grammar of a Pidgin language? Highly inflected and rule heavy, complex with many irregular forms, simplified and limited in vocabulary, completely identical to the base language. Which of the following that best describe the grammar of a Pidgin language, everybody? So it is option C, simplified and limited in vocabulary. Just read the question, find out the meaning and get the right answer. Next question. An example of a Creole language is French, Haitian Creole, Latin or Old English. Example of a Creole language. So it is option B, Haitian Creole is the correct answer. Next, code switching refers to. These questions appears in matchology majorly. Learning a new code language for encryption, switching off a language in formal situations, alternative between two or more language or dialects within a conversation, or the evolution of one dialect into another. Switching, code switching refers to, you have to find out what would be the correct answer. So it generally code switching while talking or in a conversation between two or more, we switch to another language. So this is what option B, C would be the correct answer. Okay. Next question we have. Which one of the following language is an example of a Creole developed from English and African language? Very important. Talk Pidgin, Hindi, Sanskrit, Esperanto. Esperanto. Quickly comment your answer. Sometimes it, okay. So what would be the correct? Which one of the following language is an example? So it is option A, Talk Pidgin. Next one we have, what is diglossia in sociolinguistic? When two unrelated languages are spoken in a society, when speakers use two varieties of the same language for different purpose, or when one language dominates and eliminates the others, or option D, when a child learns two languages simultaneously. What is a diglossia? Diglossia in sociolinguistics. Oh God. Sociolinguistic. Sometimes how the tongue it like. So correct answer of this question would be option B, when speakers use two varieties of the same language for different purposes. Okay. Next question we have. See, I told you there will be questions from all the 10 units. So now you're facing the question, the literary devices, terms, everything. So I hope you are watching and getting the right answer. Which of the following is a planned or artificial language created for international communication? Creole, Esperanto, Swahili, Afrikaans. Which of the following is a planned or artificial language that is created for international communication? So option B, Esperanto. Okay. Next, what does the term lingua franca refers to? Very, very important. A dead language used in rituals, a native dialect only spoken in rural areas, a bridge language used between speakers of different native tongues, or option D, the official language of France. The term lingua franca, lingua franca refers to. So it is option C, a bridge language used between speakers of different native tongues. Okay. Next question we have, in linguistic terms, a vernacular is typically, we have already see this question, the native everyday spoken language of a group. Okay, the ordinary, the everyday language. Next question. Now we are about to finish the 485 questions and we have seen the answer. Okay, no problem. The process by which a Creole language gradually becomes more like the standard language is called vernacularization, diglossia, decreolization, or pidginization. In which process the Creole language gradually becomes more like the standard language? So Creole, option C, decreolization would be the correct answer. Now next, again you saw, Which poetic form is most associated with Robert Browning? Sonnet, dramatic monologue, ballad, free verse. So option B, dramatic monologue is the correct answer. Okay. Next, in The Last Ride Together by Browning, the theme revolves around social inequality, romantic idealism and failure, political revolution, childhood memories. In The Last Ride Together by Browning, the theme majorly revolves around. So, correct answer option B, romantic idealism and failure would be the correct answer. Now, next, which of the following is not written by Robert Browning? Porphyrius Lover, The Pied Piper of Hamelin, The Blessed Damsel. Again, you saw the answer. The Blessed Damsel, Andrea del Sarto. You have to find out that which of these works, among these works, not written by Robert Browning. So it is The Blessed Damsel is the correct answer. Okay, option C. It is written by Dante Gabriel Rossetti. Next, R.K. Lakshman is most famous for creating which satirical cartoon character? The Uncommon Man, The Common Man, The Angry Indian, The Laughing Citizen. R.K. Lakshman. Uh, Correct answer option B, The Common Man. Next question we have, which of the following works is a literary contribution by R.K. Lakshman, The Guide, The Tunnel of Time, Malgudi Days, Train to Pakistan? Correct answer. The Guide is by R.K. Narayan, Malgudi Days is also. The Tunnel of Time is going to be the correct answer by R.K. Lakshman. R.K. Lakshman, Train to Pakistan is by Kushwant Singh. Next question we have, who is the author of the novel The Reluctant Fundamentalist, a key text in post 9/11 literature? Mohsin Hamid, Kamila Shamsi, Bapsi Sidwa, Hanif Qureshi. Who is the author of the novel The Reluctant Fundamentalist, a key text? So correct answer option A, Mohsin Hamid. Now we are about to finish the 500 MCQs. Everybody, now questions on Pakistani writer. Which Pakistani writer authored Burn Shadows, a novel that spans from Nagasaki to post 9/11 America? Mohsin Hamid, Kamila Shamsi, Nadeem Aslam, Bapsi Sidwa. The I Stand Mentor Bapsi Sidwa is the important work. What would be the correct? So, which Pakistani writer authored Burnt Shadows? It is option B, Kamila Shamsi. Next one we have, I Stand Man, a partition novel from the female perspective, was written by Sara Suleri, Bapsi Sidhwa, Kamila Shamsi, Fatima Bhutto. So it is option B, Bapsi Sidhwa. Next, the memoir Meatless Days, blending autobiography and post-colonial feminist. Insight was written by Tehmina Durrani, Kamila Shamsi, Bapsi Sidhwa, Sara Suleri. The memoir Meatless Days, blending autobiography and post-colonial feminist insight was written by option D, Sara Suleri. Next one we have, who wrote the satirical novel A Case of Exploding Mangoes, based loosely on the death of General Ziaul Haq? Muhammad Hanif, Mohsin Hamid, Danial Muinuddin, Nadeem Aslam. Who wrote the satirical novel A Case of Exploding Mangoes? So it is option A, Muhammad Hanif. Remember, okay. Next question, which Canadian writer is known for The Stone Angel, a novel exploring female agency, aging, and memory? Margaret Atwood, Margaret Lawrence, Alice Munro, Carol Shields. Canadian writer is known for The Stone Angel. So it is option B, Margaret Lawrence. Next question, who among the following is a key theorist of gender performativity? Alan Sholter, Julia Kristeva, Judith Butler, Helen Sears. Gender performativity, we have already solved so many questions. So it is option C, Judith Butler. Next one we have, the term intersectionality, emphasizing the overlapping system of operation, was coined by Judith Butler, Bell Hooks, Kimberly Crenshaw, Simone de Beauvoir. Intersectionality. So it is option C, Kimberly Crenshaw. Now, question number 499. Which of the following poets wrote We Are Going, the first book of poetry published by an Aboriginal Australian? Judith Wright, Odegoro Nonuncle, Alexis Wright, Sally Morgan. In each country, all the people have different style of name. that some other countries people are not properly pronouncing. So correct answer it is option B. Odgiro Nonukal is the correct answer. We are going is authored by. Next, Sally Morgan's autobiography My Place is significant because it is the first Aboriginal science fiction novel. It documents her journey to discovering her Aboriginal heritage. It critiques the British monarchy. It is written in verse form. Correct answer. Sally Morgan's autobiography My Place is significant because option B, it documents her journey to discovering her Aboriginal heritage. Okay. Next question we have. Let me finish all the questions that I have added in the PDF. So now 500 plus. And the question is Alexis Wright, the author of Carpentaria, won which prestigious literary award? Man Booker Prize, Commonwealth Writers Prize, Miles Franklin Award, or Pulitzer Prize? Alexis Wright, the author of Carpentaria. So it is option C. Miles Franklin Award is won. Next, Judith Wright is best known for her poetry focusing on urban dislocation and postmodernism, Australian landscape and Aboriginal rights, feminist satire and modern war, romanticism and Victorian morality. Correct answer? So the correct answer option B, Australian landscape and Aboriginal rights. Next one we have Judith Wright's poem Bora Ring deals with the romantic loss of a loved one, Aboriginal cultural disposition, colonial architecture in Australia, feminist interpretation of marriage. Judith Wright's poem Bora Ring deals with the correct answer option B, Aboriginal cultural disposition. Okay. Next question. Apart from being a poet, Judith Wright was also an actor and playwright, ecologist and political leader, environmentalist and activist, novelist and visual artist. Apart from being a poet, was also Judith Wright was also an environmentalist and activist. Okay, so option C is the correct answer. Now let's see how many questions we still have. Okay. So next question. Judith Wright refused which national honor in the protest against the government's policies toward Aboriginal poetry? Very important. A Companion of the Order of Australia, Prime Minister's Literary Award, Order of the British Empire, Australian of the Year. Judith Wright refused which national honor in protest against the government's policies toward Aboriginal people? So correct answer option A, Companion of the Order of Australia is the correct answer. Remember the question. Next one we have Judith Wright refused which national honor in protest against? I think we have done this question. Repeated one. Next question. The protagonist of John Osborne's Look Back in Anger is Jimmy Potter, Stanley Weber, Joe Keller, Jim Dixon. Correct answer. John Osborne's Look Back in Anger. Who is the protagonist? So it is option A, Jimmy Porter. Okay. Next question. William James is best known for his contribution to which field? Political philosophy, psychological realism in fiction, pragmatist philosophy and psychology, symbolism in modern poetry. William James is best known for his contribution. So option C, pragmatist philosophy and psychology would be the correct answer. Next one we have the term stream of consciousness. We have already solved this question. Okay. So we can skip. Let me see if there is any important. Okay, so James Joyce Ulysses is set in which city and time period? Dublin 1904, B. Paris 1922, London 1910, or option D. Trieste 1906. James Joyce Ulysses is set in which city and in which time period you have to find out. So option A, Dublin 1904 is the correct answer. Okay. Next one we have which of the following is not a character from James Joyce Ulysses? Stephen Dedalus, Leopard Bloom, Molly Bloom, Gabriel Conroy. Not a character from James Joyce Ulysses. So it is option D. Gabriel Conroy is not a character. Okay. Next question. Let me see. Uh, In Joyce, a portrait of the artist as a young man, Stephen Dedalus struggled with physical disability, war trauma, religious and artistic identity, political imprisonment. Joy, a portrait of the artist as a young man, Stephen Dedalus struggled with. Which of the correct answer? So option C, religious and artistic identity would be the correct. Next, who is regarded as the founder of modern linguistic and structuralism? Roland Barthes, Ferdinand de Saussure, Edward Said, F.R. Lewis. Founder of modern linguistic and structuralism. Correct answer. So the correct answer option B, Ferdinand de Saussure. Okay. Next question. Let's see if the concept of competence and performance were introduced by Ferdinand de Saussure, F.R. Lewis, Noam Chomsky, I.E. Richard. Competence and performance, Lang and Parole. They are somehow similar. So option C, Noam Chomsky is the correct answer. Next question. Let me see. Who among the following coined the term transformational generative grammar? Simon, Ferdinand de Saussure, James Freud, Noam Chomsky. So it is option D. Noam Chomsky is the correct answer. Next, which critic closely associated with the journal scrutiny and the promotion of moral seriousness in literature? F.R. Lewis, T.S. Eliot, Terry Galton, James Freud. What would be the correct? So it is option A, F.R. Lewis is the correct answer. Next question, let's see if we have any. Which of the following is not a term introduced by Ferdinand de Saussure? Lang, parole, signifier, and signifiant, competence, and performance. Not a term introduced by Ferdinand de Saussure. So Lang, parole, signifier, and signified is by Ferdinand de Saussure. Option D, competence and performance is by Noam Chomsky. Next, what among the following is not true about Anna Karenina? This was the very important PYQs in my question. Here, the novel was published in 1872. The novel is written in 8 parts. It tells the story of two major characters, Anna and Constantine Levin. The novel is revolutionary in its treatment of women. Here are the options. Find out which would be the correct one. Not true about Anna Karenina. So only option 1 is the correct. The novel was published in 1872. It is the incorrect. Okay. Next question. Here you can see the novel is indeed divided into 8 parts. It is correct. It narrates parallel stories of Anna Karenina and Constantine. And the novel broke new ground with its realistic and critical portrayal of a woman's inner conflict. So option 1 you can eliminate. Next question we have. Now there is an important question you cannot miss here. How I hope it is visible. Match the list one work with the list two authors and choose the correct answer from the options. List one, the work we have The Rest of the Earth, Nation and Narration, Culture and Imperialism, Imagine Communities, and the author Benedict Anderson, Homi K. Bhabha, Edward Said, Franz Fanon. Now, these are the questions you must practice. Be quick. Let me show you the options. Here are what would be the correct. So the correct answer of this question would be option 3. Here you can see option 3, we can match The Rest of the Earth is by Franz Fanon. So A with 4 we can go. Here we can find only in option 3. Okay. So option 3 is the correct answer. This is the mock test. So I hope you have got the correct answer quickly. The mock test of matchology should also be there. No? Okay, let's see the next question. This is also important. What among the following is not true about James Joyce's Ulysses? It was published in 1922. The novel is based on the Homer's Odysseus. The entire novel takes place in a single day. The protagonist, Leopard Bloom, is a university professor. And options you have. Now these are the questions. These type of questions you also must not forget to practice. So what would be the correct? So correct answer, it was published in 1922. It is true. It parallels the structure of Homer's Odysseus. It is also true. Okay, this one. The entire novel unfolds on June 16, 1904. So in a single day, it is also true. So we can select the protagonist, Leopard Bloom, is a university professor. Option B, the 4 is incorrect. Okay. So option B is going to be the incorrect. Leopard Bloom is an advertising canvasser, not a university professor. Now next question. Which of the following is true about Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway? The novel is set in post-World War I London. Clarissa Dalloway is preparing for her wedding. The novel uses a stream of consciousness technique, and the Septimus Warren Smith is a shocked veteran. Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway, you have to find out the true statement that this work relate. You can find only the negative one, which is not true. So the novel is set in post-World War I London. It is true, right? Clarissa Dalloway is preparing for her wedding. Option 2, we can eliminate not for her wedding, but for party she was preparing. She was getting ready. The novel famously is stream of consciousness technique. It is also true. Septimus Warren Smith. It is also true. So option 2 we can eliminate. Okay. So what would be the correct answer? The correct one would be option 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 4 only. Okay. Next question we have. Which of the following is not associated with the negative moment? We have solved this question. So let's skip. Next, let me see. Yeah, this one we can do. Okay. Which of the following is not a characteristic of post-colonial literature? Exploration of identity and hybridity, focus on imperial conquest as heroism, critique of colonial language and education, representation of marginalized voices. Correct answer. Which of the following not a characteristics of a post-colonial literature? So we can go along with option 2 only because exploration of identity and hybridity was there. Focus on imperial and conquest or heroism, no. Critique of colonial language and education was also there. Representation of marginalized voices is also there. So we can eliminate option 2 is the correct answer. Next, which of the following statement about Salman Rushdie's Midnight Children are true? It won the Booker Prize in 1918. The protagonist Salim Sinoy is born at the moment of India's independence. It is an example of magic realism, and the novel is set entirely in Pakistan. Here are the options. Find out the correct. And these type of questions you must practice each day. In the 2 month strategy plan, I have told you that how you for the last moment you can prepare. So do watch and prepare accordingly. I have shared that strategy plan on Telegram. You can go and take from there. What would be the correct? What do you have to find out? The true statement about Midnight Children by Salman Rushdie. So it won the Booker Prize in 1981. 1981 Booker Prize. So this statement is true. The protagonist Salim Sinha is born at the moment of India's independence, 15th August 1947. This is also true. It is an example of magic realism. It is also true. The novel is set primarily in India, not in Pakistan. So it is going to be, we can eliminate. So option 4. Option 4 we can find in the option B and then all of the above option D. Okay, so this is 2 we can eliminate. So we can go with the 1, 2 and 3 because these 3 statements are true. So option A would be the correct answer. Okay. Next question we have. Which of the following statements about T.S. Eliot's The Waste Land are correct? It was published in 1922. The poem is divided into 5 sections. It employs the technique of stream of consciousness. It ends with the Sanskrit word Shanti. Here are the options. All are correct. 1, 2 and 4 only. 1 and 3 only. 2 and 4 only. Correct answer. So T.S. Eliot's Wasteland, it was published in 1922. It is correct. Okay. If the poem is divided into 5 sections, it is also correct. Stream of consciousness technique, no, this thing you can eliminate. This is totally clear. It ends with the Sanskrit word Shanti, Om, Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Yes, it is correct. So option 1, 2 and 4. Option B. All the options are incorrect. Okay. Next one we have, which of the following statements about the Dalit literature are true? It challenges caste-based discrimination and social hierarchies. Bama and Shantabai Kamble are prominent Dalit women writers. It emerged after 2010 as a major literary movement. It often blends autobiography with social commentary. What would be the correct? See the options. You have to find out the true statement about the Dalit literature. Okay. See the options 1 and 3 only. All are correct. 1, 2 and 4 only. 2 and 3 only. What would be the correct answer? I now have to bring more question like this, no? Yeah, because this type of most of the questions in exam we face. So yes, we can. So Dalit literature here we can say correct answer confronts oppression and untouchability. Okay, so caste-based discrimination and social hierarchy is correct. Bama and Shantabai Kamble are prominent Dalit women writers. It is also correct. Okay, it emerged after 2010 as a major literary movement. No, not after 2010 it was emerged, but it was emerged after uh, 20th century. It was emerged 1950 1960s around. It often blends autobiography with social commentary, so this statement is also true. So option first, second and fourth, only third statement you can eliminate, so option A would be the correct answer. Okay, next question we have, which of the following literary devices are correctly matched with their definitions? Hamartia, a fatal flaw leading to the downfall of a tragic hero. Catharsis, emotional cleansing experienced by the audience. Epigram, a long narrative poem. Ambiguity, the presence of multiple meanings in a word or phrase. Correct answer. Here are the options. Following literary devices you have to find out are correctly matched. So, hamartia is a fatal flaw. It is correct, right? Catharsis, emotional cleansing. It is also correct. Epigram, a long narrative poem. This is incorrect. It is on. It is not a long narrative poem, but it is a short, witty poem. Okay. Ambiguity, the presence of multiple meaning in a word or phrase. This is also correct, which was common in modernist age. So, option one, two, and four. We can eliminate option three, one, two, and four. So, option A is the correct answer. Let me see if there is more question like this. Which of the following statements on diaspora literature are correct? It explores themes of displacement, identity, and belonging. B.S. Nepal and Jhumpa Lahiri are prominent diaspora writers. It is written only in native, that means non-English language. It reflects transitional experience. Here are the options. Be quick with your answer. Diaspora writers. So it first option, it explores themes of displacement, identity, and belonging. It is also correct. V.S. Nepal and Jhumpa Lahiri are prominent diaspora writers. Correct. It is written only in native language. This is incorrect. It reflects transnational experiences. So it is also correct. Again, option one, two, and four is the correct answer. Okay. So option A. Next question we have. Let's see. Which of the following statements are true about the stream of consciousness technique? It seeks to represent the inner thoughts of character as they occur. James Joyce, Virginia Woolf, and William Faulkner employed it. It avoids traditional punctuation and linear narrative. It is primarily used in romantic poetry. Correct answer, it is not used in romantic poetry. We can simply eliminate, it is clear. So option 1, 2 and 3 is going to be the correct option A. Okay. Next question we have. Which of the following statement about research methodology in English literature are correct? Primary sources include literary texts, letters and manuscripts. Hypothesis formulation is an optional part of literary research. MLA and APA are standardized referencing styles. Plagiarism refers to proper citation of all sources used. Here are the options. Research methodology in English. You have to find out the correct one. So the correct answer of this question would be option A, 1, 2, and 3. Primary sources include literary texts, letters, and manuscripts. 2, hypothesis formulation, and 3, MLA and FE are standardized referencing style. Okay. Let me see if there are more questions. This type of question you also see now. Last question, okay. Which of the following is not true about Pidgin and Creole language? Pidgin arises as a simplified communication tool between two language groups. Creole develops when a Pidgin becomes a community's first language. Pidgin have native speakers from the beginning. Both Pidgin and Creole are studied in social linguistics. Not a true statement. You have to find out about the Pidgin and Creole. So, Pidgin and Creole, we have solved so many questions in this video. So, we can eliminate the native speakers from the beginning. This is going to be the incorrect. We can eliminate option 3. Okay. So, next question we have, which of the following see this question also because important. Harlem Renaissance. Which of the following are associated with the Harlem Renaissance? It was a cultural and artistic movement of African American in the 1920s. Langston Hughes and Zora Neale Hurston were key figures. It focused on the themes like racial pride, jazz, and identity. It began in San Francisco, California. See the options. Now my tongue is twisting because more than 100 questions I have done. Here are the options about the Harlem Renaissance. You have to find out the true statement that relates. Okay, so it was cultural and artistic movement. It is true. Zora Neale Hurston and Langston is correct. Focus themes like racial is also correct. It wasn't started began in the San Francisco, California, but there was a place named Harlem in New York in which this was started. Okay. Next question. See this last one. Last one. I'm saying, but which of the following pairs are correctly matched with the classical literary theory? At Aristotle, Poetics, Longinus on the Sublime, Dryden, an essay of dramatic poesy, Horace, and all of the options are correct. Next, if let me see if there is more questions or finally. So 534 questions we have done as a mock test, everybody. I hope you like the session. Do practice. The last questions were extremely valuable and all the questions, not only the last one but all the questions, because from all the unit you at one place you have practiced and you have also check your score that how much you have got. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. I have to prepare a lot of things, so I have to say goodbye to you all. Take care of yourself and bye bye.